There's just something special about a great racing game, one that beautifully fulfills your fantasy of sitting in the driver's seat of a supercar and pushing that attractive piece of metal and gears to its absolute limits, letting it blow off steam for a short while and doing that all over again. Be it simulation racers or arcade racers or anything in between, the medium of games has some excellent racers that fans shouldn't miss out on. To that end, here are 15 of the best racers of all time. FORZA Motorsport. Developer Turn 10 has established itself as one of the best names when it comes to delivering racing games that are not only realistic in a visual sense, but also from a functional viewpoint. The latest FORZA Motorsport is emblematic of those strengths, and this simulation racer improves upon what came before in all the right ways. Right from the visual presentation to the new dynamic daytime systems to the carefully recreated cars, FORZA Motorsport is a consistently impressive experience that can take up dozens upon dozens of hours. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged. The original Hot Wheels Unleashed was a great proof of concept for an arcade racer based around the popular die-cast vehicles, and Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 builds upon those foundations to create a more complete and robust racing experience. The track layouts do a great job of utilizing the expanded moveset of the sequel, and there are plenty of race modes to choose from. Between this and the many vehicles available to purchase and upgrade, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is a great time for anyone interested in Hot Wheels. ASPHALT 8 Airborne. ASPHALT 8 Airborne isn't immune to the problems of free-to-play, mobile-centric games, but those issues do very little to detract from the otherwise great gameplay of it all. Airborne features a simple gameplay loop that revolves around using your boost wisely and drifting around corners to finish in first place, which makes it a great choice for a pick-up-and-play experience. You also have plenty of great supercars to choose from, though collecting them will take up a lot of time until you spring up real-world money for the same. Forza Horizon 5. It's difficult to have a list of the best racing games and not have Forza Horizon 5 on it. Featuring top-notch arcade-style gameplay and set in Mexico, Forza Horizon 5 included a number of modes which were a complete blast to play. Add to that a changing open world thanks to seasons. What we have is a racer that delivers on all fronts. F1 23. F1 23 is an iterative upgrade over what came before, but it is the quintessential racing game if you are a fan of the sport. The racing mechanics that underpin every moment of the racing experience are extremely solid, and the bevy of game modes on offer ranging from career to quick races and online components do a great job of keeping one entertained for hours on end. Need for Speed Most Wanted, 2005. Need for Speed Most Wanted might just be one of the most legendary games in its class, and for good reason. The 2005 original embraces everything that makes the arcade racer such a fun time, right from the thrilling car chases to the memorable journey through the blacklist and collecting new cars while you're at it. Most Wanted also features some pretty high-intensity cop chases, and the game encourages players to wreak havoc upon the city through its bounty system, where you must reach a set bounty score to unlock the next story-critical race. The driving mechanics are simple but do a good job of providing that thrill and a sense of speed that's never been replicated in the exact same way. Race Driver Grid. Race Driver Grid was featured in our last year's video, and it has featured yet again, and deservedly so, featuring several types of racing events like Demolition Derby, Open Wheel Racing, GT Championships, and Drifting. Race Driver Grid raced to the top of critics' chart, with an average rating of 85 across all major platforms. It received a number of sequels, but none have come close to the heights achieved by Race Driver Grid. The Crew MOTORFEST. The Crew MOTORFEST course-corrects almost all shortcomings presented with previous iterations of the series and transports players to a beautiful tropical island. Unlike the gargantuan maps seen in The Crew 2, MOTORFEST puts more emphasis on providing a diverse offering of varied content within its world. Combine that with solid racing mechanics and a compelling progression loop, and MOTORFEST becomes a surprisingly addictive experience. AUTOMOBILISTA 2. AUTOMOBILISTA 2 is a simulation racer that's perhaps one of the most complete and comprehensive experiences on the market, with plenty of cars from different car cultures to choose from and detailed tracks to race on. There's a ton of content that'll keep you occupied for dozens upon dozens of hours. Developer Ryza Studios has also done a good job of updating the game with new content, so it's definitely something that players can really sink their teeth into. Burnout Revenge. Burnout Revenge usually tends to get overlooked in favor of Burnout Paradise, which is a shame because many of the elements that were perfected in Paradise were actually established in Revenge. Criterion did a fantastic job of creating a gameplay loop that's extremely chaotic in all the right ways, and taking down rival vehicles amidst all the traffic remains a satisfying experience through and through. Sure, the visuals are a bit dated by modern standards, but the core gameplay has stood the test of time. Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled stands tall alongside the best in the genre. The power slide mechanics in Crash Team Racing add a lot more depth to the otherwise simplistic racing mechanics, and there are no catch-up items for racers at the back of the pack, and that combined with the simple yet satisfying racing mechanics makes it all a really tantalizing deal. Horizon Chase Turbo. Horizon Chase Turbo is a thunderous throwback to classic racing games, and developer Acquirus has done a great job of nailing the element of nostalgia, complete with all of the rose tinting that one would expect. The 16-bit graphics look gorgeous, and there's a healthy amount of diverse tracks to choose from. It's not as complex in terms of progression or gameplay as the other games on this list, but Horizon Chase Turbo's beauty lies in that simplicity. Need for Speed Heat. Developed by Ghost Games, Need for Speed Heat proved to be a much-needed comeback for the franchise after the last couple of releases flopped in terms of critical and commercial reception. Need for Speed Heat takes place in a beautiful rendition of Miami, and you take part in different modes, some of which are only available at night. Heat does a good job of reworking the progression elements to empower the player, which makes it a more rewarding experience to boot. Add to the thrilling cop chases and great visuals, and Need for Speed Heat becomes unmissable for fans of the long-running franchise. ASSETTO CORSA. ASSETTO CORSA has been one of the best games in its class for a long time, and all of that praise can be attributed to the consistent hard work that the team has been putting into the simulation racer for almost a decade at this point. There's a wealth of racing content available at your disposal, and it's all quality stuff. It's a game that you could spend dozens of hours and still have plenty of cars to collect and content to explore. Gran Turismo 7. Polyphony Digital made a huge comeback with Gran Turismo 7. Sure, the launch wasn't the best, and there are still some issues related to the game balance, but it's easily one of the most comprehensive simulation racers on the market. It's a game that really appeals to fans of car culture, and everything from the GT Cafe to the scapes and progression has been designed to appeal to that niche. And then, of course, the visuals are great too, so that's a plus as well. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request: we upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.